Why, hello there, lovely one. It's me, Helen the Great, and we're going to do a finance question that I recently gave to my grade 11s in a paper 1 exam. Now, this particular question was still in question 2, which means it's still meant to be something that is easy, and you're meant to get 100% for it. Let's go through it. Janet has X rands, amounts of money, that she wishes to save for an overseas trip in 5 years' time. It is estimated that the trip will cost 55,000 Rand. Find X if the bank offers Janet an interest rate of 12% per annum compounded quarterly. Okay, so firstly, we know it's compound interest. So before we get into how confusing X is, let's just write down the compound interest formula. One of the tricks with maths is to tackle things one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. As soon as you're overwhelmed, you're going to stop thinking. Now, with the compound interest formula, you've got 4 different variables that you could possibly substitute in for. You've got A, P, I, and N. Let's see what information we have. Well, we know that she has X amount of money right now. So let's just do this in a different color. So her principal amount is X. She wants to go overseas in 5 years' time. So N is equals to 5. It's estimated that the trip will cost 55,000 Rand. So in 5 years' time, she has to have 55,000 Rand. And the interest rate is 12% per annum, compounded quarterly. Now that's actually quite important because that 12% is not an effective interest rate. It's a nominal interest rate, which means we've got to divide it by 4. But now because we've divided the interest rate by 4, we've got to make sure that we've increased the number of payments or the number of periods by 4 as well. In other words, we're now going to have something that looks like this. 55,000 Rand is equals to X, because that's what she currently has. And then in brackets 1 plus, and I'm going to change 12% to 0,12 over 4 to the power of 5 times by 4. Okay, let's just do this to make it more clear what's happening. Now, lovely one, I have a calculator, and you must remember that calculators are your friends. Try and use the calculator only once in every problem. It minimizes the chances of making a rounding error. So in this case, I want to get X by itself, isolated, and I know that let's change color, I know that I'm multiplying X by everything that's next to it. So in order to get rid of that, I'm just going to divide the other side by this fancy bracket with an exponent. And now let's pull out the calculator and we'll type in exactly how we see it. 55,000, so that's 3 zeros. And at the bottom, we've got 1 plus, and we'll put a bracket in, 0,12 over 4. And then we'll close the bracket, go to the power of 5 times by 4. Now, lovely one, I do know that 5 times by 4 is going to be 20. I also know that 0,12 divided by 4 is going to be 0,3. Or 0,03. But anyway, I know what it's going to be. I didn't calculate it though. I waited for the calculator to do it because it's there and I might as well get it right the first time. So now I have 30,452 Rand and 17 cents. So let's write that down. Therefore, X is equals to 30, and you see I've already forgotten, 30,452, comma, and let's look again, 17. Why do I round it off to 2 decimal places? Well, we're talking about money, aren't we? So that means it's rands and cents. we automatically round off to 2 decimal places. The question we've now answered is how much money Janet currently has. It's just a fancy way of asking that. She currently has 30,452 Rand and 17 cents, and in 5 years' time, at an interest of 12% compounded quarterly, she will have a total of 55,000 Rand. In terms of the mark allocations, this is where it gets interesting, because I want to see that you divide by 4 and you multiply by 4. So the fact that you do both of those will give you 1 mark. I also want you to substitute correctly, and then I'm going to give you a mark for your final answer. If I wanted to be a bit more generous, in other words, give you more marks for an easy question, I would also throw in a mark over here for some kind of method. In other words, you're showing me that you're going to divide 55,000 by something on the right. So it could be a total of 4 marks. But generally it's probably going to be 3. Well, lovely one, that's it for now. Much love.